Welcome to the Envibe Live podcast with Amy Parker and Cheryl Dunn. By tuning in, you are joining a community that will inspire you to increase balance, wellness, and joy in your life. We'll offer expert information and insightful conversations to help us all on our journey to live more Envibe. For more information and articles, remember to also check out our website at envibelife.com. That's ENVIBELIFE.com. And we're grateful that you're here.
Hi, welcome to the Envibe Life podcast. I'm Amy Parker here with Cheryl Dunn and our friend Janet St. Paul.
Hi, everybody.
We are so excited to be here with Janet tonight for our first beauty podcast, our beauty episode.
Janet is our go-to for hair, makeup, clothes.
Exciting. Stylist. Stylist extraordinaire. And we should put a disclaimer running along the bottom of the podcast that she did not do our hair and makeup tonight.
I think they did a really good job. I'm just going to say, I think this is
we have a great
prime example.
And little known fact, Janet is how I met Cheryl to begin with over 10 years ago. So Janet has been my stylist for over 10 years now. I've known Cheryl for almost 10 years. And so this connection has been going on for a little while, and we've watched your business grow and thrive, and been so excited to watch that and be a part of it.
Yeah.
And now you've brought us together all those years ago, and so this
really
feels like it's really a benchmark moment for us to all three be here together talking about our businesses and our ideas.
Janet bringing you and I together, and now we're doing Envibe, so it's exciting.
I love it. And I love that you guys are seeding your new venture. I think it's going to be great.
We've been talking about this for so many years, and you know that.
Yeah.
We've had so many different ideas down this path before we came to where we are now with Envibe Life. And we're so excited to be here and see where it's going to go and where it's going to take us. And at Envibe Life, you know, we are all about balance. Health, wellness, emotional health, spiritual health, physical health. Yeah, in every way. But for both of us, you know, beauty's a part of that. Beauty's a part of balance. It's a part of wellness. And I think you believe that too.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not sure all of your clients, Janet, know that you also devote a lot of time to wellness outside your work.
Yeah.
And you've been on this journey with us, actually, for spiritual growth, emotional growth, health, and wellness. And we want to hear from you how you feel that beauty fits in to a wellness lifestyle or a balanced lifestyle.
So just to answer that first part initially, I think that it's a 360 approach, because if you're not working on yourself as a whole, not any one aspect will come forward all the way to fruition. Does that make sense? So, and I've only learned that, so I'm 49 now, and I've only learned that through a bunch of... I'm like, wow, next year.
I'm taking baby.
I would say.
I'm the OG.
But I feel like if you are not working on yourself or looking at every aspect on a whole, it's really hard to achieve that end destination of whatever your complete vision of totality looks like. You know, I don't think any definition is the same for any one person or any one woman, to be honest, especially for women. You know, you had mentioned something a little bit earlier that you think it's so much harder for moms, and then you know, then you said women, and I said, you know, I agree. I think it's women on a whole, right? I think that if you're a mom and you work, it's always devoting time to your children. Then I also think it's a split between devoting time between work and your husband. And then if you don't have those three things, then you spend so much time trying to get to those benchmarks in your life. And then it's like, where's the balance? Where are you? Where have you left yourself?
What we were talking about is finding the time for your beauty regimen, whatever that is for you. You know, and I think that's different for every woman as well. Because some women are absolutely willing to do one thing, but another one's like, oh no, you're never going to catch me with a blow dryer. And another one's like, yes,
Yeah.
I can't wait to blow my hair dry today.
Very few.
Mm-hmm.
Let's be honest about that. Very few.
But that's what we're talking about. Who really takes the time? And I think that that's one of the things that I love about Janet's is the more she can do to help me on the journey of trying to look better, the less time it really does take.
Yeah, and I think the beauty about the beauty industry on the whole, I'm super proud to be in this industry. I think that the impact that hairstylists, estheticians, the beauty industry across the board has on an individual's life or the way that they feel about themselves, or just a moment to like press pause and take a little time, or to leave and be like, oh my God, I really feel amazing. I'm super proud to be part of that.
And you probably see it.
Yes.
From the time they walk into the door to the time they leave the door, you can probably see the inner glow change because you've made them feel beautiful.
Well, and what I found so interesting kind of moving out of a major market like New York City, where I lived for 16 years, and coming to Austin, Texas, is a lot of women felt they could never achieve that feeling or that desired look, or they could achieve it, but how are they going to do it at home? And I'm going to be perfectly honest. What I love is that I'm like, oh no, I'm going to look, we're going to do 2 blow dries. I'm going to show you how you're going to do it. Then I'm going to blow it out like you had your hair cut. And I go over the same thing often, a million times a day, and I have no problem with it. But to me, first of all, the shape is in the haircut. That's my whole philosophy. The shape is not in the styling of it. And to give the tools to your client to actually know how to replicate it is everything to me. And then just like your body, if your hair isn't healthy, it's not going to look good. And that's like paramount to me, because really the chicest women throughout history, it's been about the health of their hair.
And so what's more important, the products or diet, exercise, lifestyle?
Combination, for sure.
Yeah.
Because
if you could give somebody advice on how to get that healthy hair, come on.
Yeah. Or
Okay.
what's the one thing you would say definitely do, and what's the one thing you'd say definitely do not do?
Okay,
if there is.
So that's a 2-parter. So the first part is 100%, it's about both. And the reason that I say that is because I cannot tell you how many clients I've worked with for a period of time, and sometimes new clients, and I'll feel their hair texture after doing hair for 25 years. There's a certain way that the hair feels in its elasticity,
Don't you want
stretch,
to show your hair?
smoothness, and actually, you and I know, because we've been through lots of rounds of different types of chemical processing and hair challenges. And I'm going to tell you right now, top issues for women: thyroid, post-pregnancy, that would be pregnancy breastfeeding, right? And when there's a thyroid and or an anemia issue, it all plays out in their hair, because all of those internal issues impact the pituitary, which impacts every single part of a woman's body. Every single part. Her skin will shift. She'll be like, I don't know, my nails are breaking, my skin, I don't understand.
And then a huge topic.
And then she's like, oh my God, my hair, it's thinning. I don't understand. It doesn't feel. So I'm going to say one fact, and this is fact. It's physics. Every woman's hair starts to get a little bit finer, very, very microscopic fineness. I'm going, you have so much hair. You don't have to help. I mean, I'm like, what? I know.
Cheryl, just go.
Okay, you're out. So, but every woman's hair gets a little bit finer from the time that she is 25 or 26.
Wow.
Because it's tied to your hormones.
Your hormones.
As your hormones starts to slowly, I mean, this is a slow crescendo, right? When do they say is the best time to have a baby? Mid-20s.
Yeah.
Late 20s, right? Yeah. That's because your hormones are really like at their fullest, they're at their peak, their strongest. So from 25 on, every woman's hair gets finer. Fact. Okay. So we're just going to deal with that.
Does that also mean thinning out?
Yeah. It can be square footage,
part.
And each strand can change.
This was going to be one of my next questions to you, is how do hormones. I thought we were going to start the conversation at 40. You know, we're starting at 25.
Yeah. So a big thing that is just part of what speaks to my life and my brand is our hair care predominantly is Phyto. Phyto is a privately held hair care company. It was started by Patrick Alez, who actually just this past year passed away at, I believe, his early 90s or very late 80s. And it is completely botanically based. And the reason it speaks to me so much is because when you coat the skin in any way, so that would also be the scalp, because the scalp is just a form of skin covered by this stuff, and you suffocate the pore where the bulb is below the skin, it reduces circulation. The more you reduce the circulation, the more that hair shaft out of the bulb gets impacted. So today, most people, especially Americans, feel like I have to shampoo a lot. That's the first thing. Second thing is because they feel that is a cleanliness thing. That's very American. And it's okay. It's totally okay.
I like to wash
but you just have to know what you're using and like the pH, right?
Yes.
And you have to make sure that the things that you do chemically to your hair, like whatever it is, whether it's color or highlighting or smoothing treatments or extensions,
or all of it,
or all of the above, all of the above, you just have to make sure that you're treating it properly and that prescription is accurate. And so one part is Americans like to cleanse often. That's the first part. Second part is we like to feel soft and silky on our hair, especially after we get out of the shower. Okay, I'm going to tell you right now. Here's a fact. Hair is a texture. A cotton shirt does not feel soft when it comes out of the washer, yes or no? It feels kind of rigid a little bit.
Stiff. Yeah, I was like, my hair does not feel soft when I get out of the shower.
No, it feels a little like all over the place, right? Because there's nothing coating it. So here's the thing.
Okay.
A texture only feels smooth if something's on it. End of discussion.
Is that why
the measure of the health of the hair is how it feels when it's dry, not when it's wet.
Okay.
That's fact. Like the whole hormone thing.
No idea.
Everybody's like, okay, I'm going to touch my hair.
For those of you listening to the podcast, we're all petting ourselves.
I love it. That's great. But that's kind of my cornerstone. So Phyto's the predominant product in this zone. It's the only luxury product that is completely botanically based that gives high performance results. And I feel really proud to be part of that. But you're right. The thinning discussion does not start at 40. And you know what other example is in that? Eye cream, everybody, doesn't start at 40. Eye cream starts like in your 20s. Why would you? Because in your 20s, you think you're invincible. I'm going to bake. I'm going to lay out. I'm going to like baby oil. And like our moms were like iodine and like, right?
Yeah.
Reflectors. Okay. You don't put your sunscreen on at 20. You're more inclined to put your sunscreen on at like, mid to late 30s, early 40s, but then you're a little late, right? You want to be on the preventative forward end of that. You want to be in a treatment zone always.
Right.
Just like you drink your water, just like you go get your physical and your mammograms and all of that, right? It's the same with your routine in health.
And it all matters. It all comes together as a part of the whole picture of who you are and how you feel.
Absolutely. It's really hard to decipher a lot of the information that's out there too. I think that's I think that's really hard.
And the difference between information and advertisement, because so much of it comes across.
Great point. Yeah. Massive difference. Yes. And by the way, I'm not saying that there's only one avenue for any of this, because I also think that women on the whole get in this lane of like, then they fear, I'm not doing it well enough. I'm not doing
because we all compare ourselves.
My biggest thing is that you have to honor the process. You have to honor the time that you get the message. You have to honor how things come. You have to take it one step at a time, because I think that I don't know. I think stop beating yourself up. Like I'm really working on that this year.
Honor the process.
Yeah.
I mean, could that be? I mean, that could be a motto for
But that
life.
goes,
For everything.
So the first time someone ever wrote that to me in a card, it was in relation to me dealing with grief.
Oh, love it.
And that because when someone's in deep grief, there's not really anything you can say to help.
Absolutely.
But when I read that Honor the Process, it made me realize wherever you are in the journey is okay.
Yeah.
And that goes with beauty, but it goes with life.
So not to get too heady, but I just heard something today, and I am so bummed that I'm going to miss her in Dallas, but Oprah is doing a tour in 2020, and she's just my Svengali. Like, she was my babysitter in grammar school and high school. You know, I would come home by myself and I'd click on the TV in the 80s, and I adore her.
She came on at 4 o'clock.
In
Every way. Well, and she
Every
got
way.
me through a lot of stay-at-home mommy years when
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
lonely
totally.
and
Totally.
having a hard time. And
I think she is just such inspiration. I mean, I know she touches so many people in so many different ways, but she did an interview. I also love Lady Gaga because
me too.
her
Saw that they
process
just did a podcast.
is mind-blowing. And the term that really stuck with me from that interview was radical acceptance.
Oh, I love that.
Because she's very forthright in saying how she had basically
A history
a
that was unpleasant.
mental break, and she was institutionalized. And I just thought, wow, radical acceptance. That's going to be my theme this year.
Yeah.
Because that's what I love to help clients with. Like, everybody at some point wants to cover something, right? I mean, maybe we have like a little too much in the middle, or a little something here, or a little something here, or a little something here. Oh, my eyelids are this and that. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
We all do. No matter
Everybody. Here's the best part. My whole consultation is based on show the good stuff. Show all this good stuff. Let's show the cheeks. Let's show the eyes. Let's show your lips. And then whatever is your particular,
not so good.
I don't feel great about that.
Yeah.
Objectively, maybe it's not even on my radar.
Right.
Because I would never say it, but maybe it's really not on my radar. But if you show the good, the things that you don't love will fade in the back. And that's what a good shape of a haircut does to me.
Brings out the good.
And then the color paints onto that, whether it's a full single process. There's all kinds of different ways of showing light and dark in a tone-on-tone value. There's all kinds of lightness, fun that you can have. You should think of your hair seasonally. You should definitely treat your hair seasonally. You need to think about your hair summer and winter versus just, this is my routine. I mean, how many of your friends have said to you, well, I had this and then like it doesn't work anymore and then I moved on to something else. And okay, that's because you should always rotate your shampoos.
Yeah.
I don't mean every day. I just mean use that bottle, ask your stylist, hey, so I use this one and like I'd love to try something else. What do you think? Or if you feel a texture change, you want to say, feels a little like dry, or help me get a little more shine. Talk to me about that, right? Because your stylist can help you.
So I have a question.
Okay.
When we come to your place, we get that treatment. You know, we get this.
I love that.
We feel.
I was just thinking, I never have to ask that because
Exactly.
Janet.
We get this treatment that is palpable, right? And it is very clear. Like I might
kind of
come
a cut
in
above. It's-
and I say, Janet, I want this haircut.
You can use that.
I come in and I say, Janet, I want this haircut. And you're brutally honest with me. You're like, that's never going to work for you, right? That is priceless. And you're very, it's like,
But I deliver it a little bit better than that.
no, you deliver it great. You deliver it great. But like,
No, you can't. That's awful.
I might tell a friend, hey, I'm going to get my haircut. And they'll say, what are you going to do? I'm like, well, I don't really have to think about what I'm going to do because I can show up and Janet does what's best for me. Always.
I love that.
And it doesn't matter if I'm seeing you. I feel like everyone that works for you has that same quality.
That is
right?
the highest compliment.
If someone is listening to this podcast and they're not in Austin, Texas, how do you recommend they find a salon that meets these qualities?
Okay. So,
Because that's tough.
yeah, it is. So I feel really grateful because our salon has 4 hairstylists that have no less than 11 years of experience in Manhattan. And there is a really strong, palpable difference in your training from a major market. So that's just a sidebar. When you are trying to find a stylist, the best thing is to talk to a friend that you love how their hair looks and make sure the texture is kind of similar. Often, I mean, look, a good stylist is a good stylist. That's the first thing.
That's so true.
The second thing is you want to get curious. There's so many tools now online, right? Look at their social media for sure.
You're great about that.
We try. It's a struggle, man. It's a struggle because what I've started to understand is in our industry, the people that are really good at social media, if they are really, really busy, I mean, slamming behind the chair.
It's hard to get social media out.
It's hard to do it. But you know what? The people that really do it well, they've got freaking teams. Mm-hmm. I mean, teams. Right. They have 3 and 4 people literally working their social media. I'm talking live on the floor in the minute.
I love that about yours though. I love, like, right now I feel like you're putting out in your social media a lot of teaching. Like, I see your stylist doing somebody else's hair, and I mean, maybe not everybody loves that, but I love that because I'm like, ooh, I want to try that.
No, it's so great. I'm going to say,
and this is a point too for those of you who aren't in Austin, Texas. You can go to Janet St. Paul on Facebook and
yeah, for sure.
There are videos. Yeah. There are before and after.
Our website has a ton of blogs and tutorials. Our blow dry.
And that's at janetstpaul.com.
Our blog and tutorial on how to blow your hair blew up. I mean, it was crazy. So then I'm like, we should probably shoot a video for this.
Yeah.
And the how-to was insane. So that was the first thing. So,
and we can link some of those things under this podcast too on our website at Envibe.com.
So tell me, the second part was, how do people find this in their own market?
Right. For example, when I came to you, I had moved to Austin, had been using the same person for 10 years that had, I think at that point, 3 hairstylists in my life. Mm-hmm. And so I had to do some research, and that was before there was social media at play and things like that. And I really called and
so that was going to be my next thing.
And when I called the salon, I said, I have very curly hair, and I'm not kidding. I mean, really curly. Who do you have?
Heads up.
But you wouldn't know that.
Who do you have that can handle it?
Look at that blow dry.
I know. But who do you have that can really handle it and has a lot of experience? And led me to you.
So that's the other thing. A really good salon is going to be a 360 approach. That's my whole method, right? They're going to have a great training program for their stylists. They're going to have a great training program for their front desk. They're going to have a great training program for their assistants. They're going to have tools available for every aspect of the salon. And their front desk is going to be able to speak well to their unique points of difference, right?
Yeah.
Our biggest point of difference is that we are not we are not an Austin, Texas salon. We just happen to be in Austin, Texas. We are full on a New York City salon. End of discussion. End of discussion. The level of work, the level of training, the perspective, and the authenticity that my stylists shoot for, which kind of goes back to your original comment. Cheryl had mentioned that she wanted to always be able to enjoy coming and feeling so relaxed and see other stylists. We pride ourselves on, first of all, being a team. I also think, now, for my industry, there are going to be many different views on this, and this is just my personal opinion, which really doesn't mean anything outside of just the 3 of us talking. Booth rental, for me, is not really where it's at. And I'm going to tell you why. There could be some tenured stylists that go to booth rental that could be very, very good. Okay, that's total disclaimer. The challenge is the average stylist who is very creative, often has a hard time managing a brand, marketing themselves, working on their valuation, working on their training. It's a full 360 for the business, and it's a full 360 for the stylist. It's a full 360 for each part of it. And if you're not constantly trying to raise your bar, and you know this and you know this because you've both been in service-oriented industries, if you're not striving for that every single day, every day, forget it, game over. Like, roll it up, hang a shingle on the door, closed, done, bye. Because we strive to be authentic, be the best that we can, show up every day, and we try to come into that space, leave everything of our personal life behind, and just be kind of present and open vessels, right?
Yep.
It's hard work. And then the technical stuff just is like on top of that.
Right.
So to me, that's the biggest thing. When you are looking for a salon in another market, call, talk to the front desk, ask questions, then go in, have a consultation. Ask who is the best stylist, like you said, for this type of hair texture. And do a little research. You know, I think people think photographs when you go to your stylist is not a good thing. And I actually don't think that's true. I actually think it's a spirit of an inspiration that you're showing the stylist. I like these tones. I like this kind of blonde. I like this kind of...
I always show up with photographs.
I think it's the best because it's showing an idea that the stylist and you don't have to decipher. You're just actually communicating through a vision. You're not saying, make me look like this person. Nobody thinks that.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice though?
Yeah. It's not happening. But it's a great visual cue, right? And I think any stylist thinks that that's wonderful. And the consultation should be really good. If you're not feeling that the stylist knows a direction and a road that they're going to take you on, whether it's cut or color, and we do both at my salon, because it's a business principle for me, even though I was a stylist for 16 years in Manhattan. If they don't have a vision for where you're going, double think that. That's just my little
That's good. That's a great answer. I have also a question.
Okay.
I feel like, and you could correct me if I'm wrong.
Okay.
But we're just now coming into 2020, a whole new decade.
So exciting.
There's this gray trend, right? What do you think?
You mean natural gray? With women letting
but
it go?
even not natural, like women coloring their hair.
They color their hair gray now.
Yeah.
Okay. So, okay, let's be honest.
And
look at
don't
me.
get me wrong, it looks beautiful on some people.
Look at me.
Yeah.
I love style and fashion and trend and inspiration. There is a difference between trend and trendy.
Totally.
Okay? Trend, forward thinking, forward moving, cutting edge, love it. I love getting dressed and putting my makeup on and the whole 9 yards, doing my hair. And when I really do different things with it, everybody's like, oh.
Yes.
But most of the time, I'm like, but this is good. I got to go to work. But my point is, trendy is the gray. So here's the thing. All beauty and fashion, albeit makeup colors, nail polish colors, right? All beauty and fashion. Okay, here's the last element. Decorating. Commercial or residential, link together. Let me tell you why. Do you remember 6 years ago, all of a sudden appliances in the kitchen started going shiny?
Yes.
We were like, matte. And then all of a sudden it's like glossy, right? Okay. And then all of a sudden stainless was out and it had been in for 30 years.
Right.
And then it was brush gold or bronze or, right? Which if you grew up in the 80s, it's like, wow, that so kind of harkens the 80s a little, right? Okay.
Yes.
So we see how it all comes around. So the gray hair trend is about the whole, picking your color and doing something fashion forward and funky and unique and kind of stand out. I mean, look, okay. Hi, I referenced Lady Gaga earlier. That interview with Oprah, her hair is full blown pink.
Yeah.
And what she references in that is like, how cool, like pink hair is like no big deal now.
Which is true.
Which is true. It's no big deal. A lot of the young girls like it, right? I think
and
you
older
just
women. I mean, I have older women in my studio that come in and they've got a little pink here, or a little blue there.
I love it.
And these are,
totally classic.
Classic type. But then all of a sudden there's a little pink because her granddaughter thought,
this will be fun. Can we do it?
And so they all do it.
Totally. Here's the thing. Trend colors are incredible. You have to talk to your stylist about the health of your hair and how you're going to maintain it and what is this trend color going to look like in 2 weeks. Because I'm going to be honest, what they have to do for anything, even for your blonde, for how blonde you are, anything darker than this, I'm talking like it's not me. We have to lift it to white.
Yeah.
White, which is
like lighter than this?
Yeah, that's yellow.
Oh.
If you're just thinking of the color spectrum, not blonde and brunette and strawberry and redhead, this has golden in it, right?
You have to make all the color gold.
You have to make it white. And then what you're doing is you're taking all the melanin out of the hair, not to get too chemically oriented, but there's nothing for it to stick to. So you will be glossing that color no less than every 2 weeks. And you're definitely going to pay a little bit of a price on the health. It's going to take your hair for a little bit of a ride. So you just have to make sure you're set up for success. There are all kinds of treatments. There are incredible treatments in our industry now, which are amazing. We've even used some on you, right? And I've used some on you that help the hair to fortify as it grows out. But the reality is it's going to take your hair for a ride. And you can guarantee that. End of discussion. So just make sure you know what you're getting into. I'm going to be honest, from my personal taste, what I tend to do is actually suggest to the client, let's do some extensions in that color. Here's the best part. If you're doing really great extensions, they'll last about 4 or 5 months if they're bonded to the hair.
What if you just color the extension?
You can order them colored.
Oh, beautiful.
Literally. You order them colored. It's all done. It stays true to its tone. It doesn't fade. You're not going back to the salon. And you got about 4 months if you're doing a bonded hair extension, right?
Wow.
Tape-ins last a little less, but tape-ins you can reuse. Bonded hair extensions, which are actually bonded to the hair, you can't reuse.
This is
I know, it's a whole new world.
territory to me. Yeah.
But it's a great avenue and it's much better. I think it just looks better. Like if you're going to go there, like do it right. You know, Lady Gaga can have somebody gloss her hair at her house every other day. Literally. So she's not worried about fading.
Right.
But to me, it doesn't look great if it fades. Even on kids. Right? They're so young, I don't want to trash their hair.
I've seen it, So on that note, we are in the early weeks of 2020. So we just closed out one decade and we're starting another. How would you characterize what you saw in trends in the last decade? And what do you think we will see in the coming decade?
Okay.
And not even just the gray color, but even, more extensions and things like that versus a natural look or,
Absolutely. Okay. So this is always fun to talk about. And of course I have more than one answer. First part is hair and makeup always follows fashion.
Okay.
Always, 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 always. Like cars went matte, right? Especially luxury segment. Polish went matte. I don't know if you noticed that.
Fascinating.
Do you get it?
Yep.
Yeah. So they all kind of interlace. The biggest part for trend for me is that I always like beautiful, soft, wearable. I like hair to look like hair. I like it pretty. I like it. It's just my French background, my French training. It's super important to me. How you edit in that group is often with like, okay, instead of like tight short bangs, we're going to do like some really soft, pretty curtain bangs. We're also going to do like fun color. Maybe we'll brighten some areas, lighten some ends, things like that. Trend also goes with what pop culture is doing. So I'm going to just name one person that drives so much pop culture. It's incredible.
Fill us in.
Kardashian. Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
I'm so out of the loop.
that was a good answer. A for effort.
Yeah.
Kim Kardashian and her sisters all drive this machine in a very big way. And I love them for it, to be honest. Mm-hmm. I think that...
keeps nobody guessing.
Well, but you know what's so interesting? They put it all out there, right? For good or for bad. Mm-hmm. And the reality is they drive pop culture hugely. Someday we are going to look back at that group of sisters and we are going to say, wow, they were like a modern Warhol because of how they steered everything through what they did. Okay, so the reason I bring up her name is because do you guys ever think when her hair is super, super long and really, really dark, Kim's, don't you think she looks like Cher?
A little, yeah.
Now that you say that.
Don't you think her gold chains and how she does a thick, flat herringbone? I'm like, that is so 70s and that is all my jam.
You know, I had that necklace in the 80s and I want one again.
I do too. I was like, I want a fat herringbone, and it's not like gangster. It's so good looking, and how it sits on her.
And I didn't even
clavicle, and
I didn't even know that she started it. I just knew that I wanted one again, and I never would have tied the dot.
100%
to that.
100%.
100%. Had no idea.
And if you kind of look at her, right?
You guys are keeping me up to speed.
So if you look at her in our industry, everybody follows all of their hairstylists. So a few years ago, trend was who? Cindy Crawford, you know, supermodels, right?
Right.
10, 15 years ago drove that. Now with the social media presence and push, you don't need that extended reach. You can get right to somebody by sending them a private message. I mean, really, if you're following their fan page, and whether they're answering it or someone that they've hired to answer it, they're still going to probably get a message. I'm going to tell you right now, every social media comment we get, we print it out, we put it in the staff room, good or bad. I mean, very few bad, thank God. I mean, I'm just going to say that right now. But we like everybody to be involved in it so that they know, because I think it's really important. It's a piece of their ownership in what they're doing. And Kim Kardashian single-handedly drives a tremendous amount. So a lot of her extensions are called hand-tied. Her stylists are primo. They are like the greats of the industry. Also, J-Lo's makeup artist and her hairstylist, she's also a big driver in the industry, right? If you think about even before Kim Kardashian and that whole beautiful, like, light in the front and like highlight here and contouring, like she really brought that back, right?
J-Lo.
No, well, Kim really brought it to the masses.
Okay.
J-Lo had been doing that years before, right? Like if you look at her makeup trend all the way through, it's really consistent.
And it's beautiful.
Oh my God.
Right. Gorgeous.
You want to talk about a beautiful woman and aging so impeccably. You know, and however she gets there, I think she really works out hard. I think she takes care of herself, and anything else, I think awesome. More power to you. I have no judgment.
Right.
That's the other thing. Don't judge your friends and don't try to keep up with them. It's like, you know, for me, at this point, I also never say never. Never say never.
Never say never.
Radical acceptance, never say never.
Right.
Because for me, what I've come to understand is, at this point, I have some autoimmune issues, and I like how I've gone through a health journey this past year in 2019, and they've really shifted and changed. You've seen that. So for me, I tend to not really do a lot of like injectables, but I really focus on the texture a ton, like lots of laser, lots of pinning and micro pinning, and just to keep the elasticity as taut as I possibly can before I go to injections. But I also have no skin in that game if that works for somebody. I really don't. I say more power to you.
Right.
I think it's awesome.
Love my injectables.
I haven't yet. I'm the same. Yeah. But
been doing
it's
it for
just
a while.
not yet.
I love it. I'm looking at her. She's amazing.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thanks, Eugenia.
Just saying.
Well, I think that this really helped and covered a lot.
But let's
good.
ask
I
her the
hope so.
question we like to ask
Yes.
everyone.
Okay.
And that's, you've kind of covered this, but what is one thing you do maybe each day to bring balance into your life?
That's a good question.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so truth be told, I'm going to full disclosure. I am not really in balance right now. And I'm really just kind of a little bit off my rocker, to put it mildly.
Okay. We all go through
Yeah,
things like that.
totally.
Process. That's
Right.
part of it too.
Exactly, and radical acceptance. That's
Right.
what kind of got me to feeling better about today. You know, there's just a lot going on in my life right now, and I have so much polarization. Really exceptionally good and exceptionally not great. And it's kind of been dragging on for a few months. And I see a light at the end of the tunnel. And the reality is right now, I'm way out of my practice. It's even been hard to get in to see you. I consider it a win when I'm like, okay, I ate well. I didn't drink a lot. And I had a good day at work, and I'm just going to like end my day. I kind of like, I'm really in a simple vessel right now. When I am in my real flow, I'm meditating more often, and I have a bunch of little fun, quick things. I always marvel at people who say they like meditate for like 20, 30 minutes or like multiple times a day, because I'm like, that's amazing.
Amy's one of those.
But I've been out of that lately too.
It's amazing.
Having
But
to
you,
get back
when you're in it, you can do
I
it.
can do
It's
20
amazing.
minutes, yeah.
It's amazing.
20
I
minutes
really,
is my
that's going to be my goal
my
someday.
happy place.
Really. I think I've come to understand that in owning your own business, there is never a finish line. And I'm not using it as a crutch, but I thought I would get to this spot all the time and like, breathe. It's not going to happen. So how do I keep that in the minute and understand that I have to keep inserting the process and the ritual of balance at little tiny increments? And so sometimes literally, sorry, TMI, but during the day when I go to the restroom, I just take like maybe a solid 3 minutes. I'm going to close my eyes and just like, and so that's it, really,
I don't
for
think
right
there's
now.
a mommy that hasn't done that too.
Yeah,
Like,
totally.
don't
Actually,
knock
that's
at your
just-
door right
Hope
now.
that nobody's followed you in there, not even your dogs.
Exactly.
Great point.
Seriously?
Great
Come on,
point.
guys.
But you know what?
It's the same
This
as
is
with
what I
this.
want to say. I appreciate what you just said and shared, because everything you said is exactly why Cheryl and I are doing what we're doing.
I love it.
It's
I love
because
it.
it is a process and it is a journey, and you have ups and downs, and we have found it so helpful to support each other.
Yeah.
And we want this to be a place that other people can
Yeah,
come,
and I
so
want to
that we're
say-
all just supporting each other.
How special this is, because in our world, this whole ability to reach people with a little more ease is pretty incredible, right? It gives you the ultimate flexibility. And I think that there is not enough in our world, not even our country, just our world, that supports other humans in a really sweet, soft, easy, sometimes fun, kind way. There's not enough of it. So kudos, girls.
Yay.
I think it's going to be great.
We're excited.
Yeah, I feel thrilled to be part of it.
Well, thank you, Janet. We can't wait
you.
for
You're
our
welcome.
next topic and the next
Yeah,
time you
I can't
join
wait.
us.
Can't wait
and
to come
we're
back.
so excited.
Love
Thank
it.
you. We love you. Thank
Love
you.
Well, thanks for listening, and we'll have a new podcast out soon.
Yeah, www.envibelife.com. And we will have links to Janet's salon and her social media, so you can check us all out there. Thanks so
Excellent.
much.
Thank you for listening to the Envibe Life podcast. For more information and to join our community, be sure and check out our website at www.envibelife.com. We look forward to sharing with you.